At 82, I have gathered a wealth of experiences, yet one choice weighs heavily on my heart: the decision to move into a nursing home. In that moment, it appeared to be the wisest decision. My family supported the idea, assuring me that I would receive all the care and comfort I desired. I placed my trust in them. Yet, upon my arrival, I discovered that the truth was far removed from the visions I had conjured in my mind. Many of you may find yourselves contemplating this choice, whether for your own sake or for someone dear to you. Perhaps you believe it to be the most secure choice, or perhaps others have suggested it will simplify your life. However, prior to making that decision, I feel compelled to share 6 insights I wish someone had imparted to me before my own transition. The reality is, residing in a nursing home transcends mere convenience. It transforms every aspect of life. Once you step inside, escaping is not as straightforward as it may seem. Accompany me on this journey to the conclusion, for you may find that some of these insights are quite unexpected. If you happen to know someone contemplating a nursing home, this video could be just what they need to hear before embarking on such a significant life decision. Let us embark on this journey. One regret lingers: the loss of my independence. The most surprising aspect of relocating to a nursing home was not the cramped quarters, the rigid meal schedules, or the strange faces surrounding me. The moment struck me with a profound clarity. I had relinquished control over my own existence. Prior to my relocation, I maintained my own set of rituals. I took charge of my mornings, choosing the hour to rise, the moments to savor my meals, and the way to fill my hours. Whenever the mood struck, I could stroll at my leisure, prepare my own culinary delights, or simply settle into my cherished chair, lost in the pages of a good book. Yet, within the confines of the nursing home, it dawned on me that my time had slipped from my grasp. All things unfolded according to a timetable that did not belong to me. Breakfast arrived at its appointed hour, regardless of my appetite. The hour arrived for lights to extinguish, regardless of my readiness for slumber. Would you care to join me for a stroll outdoors? It seems you may require authorization, and it's likely that you'll need to bide your time until assistance can be rendered. What to eat or what to wear began to feel less like ordinary decisions and more like rare privileges. I recall my initial week in that place, rising from a bed that seemed foreign to me. I propped myself up, extended my limbs, and grasped the book that had captured my attention back at home. Yet, as I surveyed the room, a realization washed over me. This place did not feel like home to me. The cherished volumes, the beloved chair, the small comforts I had meticulously gathered over the years, had vanished. In their stead stood barren walls, a solitary bed. The choice was not mine to make. A sensation I couldn't quite dispel enveloped me. I found myself no longer the master of my own existence. The most challenging aspect: understanding that relinquishing your independence makes reclaiming it nearly unattainable. You adjust, compelled by necessity. The debate ceases as soon as the dinner menu is revealed. You cease inquiring about the possibility of taking a walk at your leisure. As you adapt to their framework, a gradual erosion of your own identity begins to unfold. As you contemplate the prospect of a nursing home, take a moment to reflect. Are you prepared to relinquish the little liberties that define your existence? For when they depart, the ache of their absence will surpass anything you could have imagined. Regret, as well, carries the weight of feeling overlooked. One of the most challenging realities of transitioning to a nursing home is coming to terms with the fact that life beyond its walls continues to unfold without your presence. Upon my arrival, my family offered comforting words, promising that their visits would be frequent. I placed my trust in them, and at first, they upheld it. My daughter visited once a week. On weekends, my grandchildren would come to visit. For a fleeting moment, it seemed as though I retained a thread to my former existence. Yet, as the months unfolded, the visits dwindled in frequency. My daughter has begun to call rather than come in person. My grandchildren have become engrossed in their studies and jobs. The holidays proved to be the most challenging time. Each promise echoed with the assurance of presence. Yet, as if by some unspoken agreement, the plans unraveled at the final hour. In an unexpected moment, I discovered myself seated in solitude within a common room, observing fellow residents fixate on the door, each silently wishing that today might be the day someone would recall their existence. My family's love for me never truly faded. Life simply intervened. In your absence, it becomes all too simple for others to believe that you are thriving, that you have seamlessly adapted, and that your need for attention has diminished. Yet, the reality remains that the more time one spends in a nursing home, the simpler it becomes for others to overlook the depth of their ongoing needs. One evening, I found myself in my room, phone in hand, wrestling with the decision of whether to reach out to my son. I wished to avoid being a weight on others. I refrained from reminding him of my presence, lingering in anticipation of a visit that may never arrive. As I set the phone aside, a realization washed over me. This had become my existence, observing the passage of time, yearning for someone to recall my presence. As you contemplate the prospect of transitioning to a nursing home, take a moment to reflect. Are you truly ready to face the solitude that may accompany such a change? For all the love your family may hold for you, the moment you slip from their view, it becomes surprisingly simple to fade from their thoughts. If you're still engaged with this video and appreciating these insights, I invite you to comment number 2 below to signify your presence. If you haven't subscribed yet, I highly encourage you to do so and activate the notification bell to ensure you never miss a video. Let us now proceed onward. Regret 3. The loss of my sense of purpose. Upon my arrival at the nursing home, I believed I was merely altering my residence. I was unaware that I was also altering the very reasons for my existence. Within the confines of my home, I bore the weight of responsibilities. My days were filled with routines, passions, and a purpose that beckoned me from slumber each morning. The simplest of tasks, watering the plants, brewing my own coffee, organizing my surroundings, imbued me with a profound sense of purpose. Yet within the confines of the nursing home, those cherished daily rituals faded away. Food was prepared for my enjoyment. The cleaning was performed by another individual. The plants, it seemed, were no longer under my stewardship. Initially, I reassured myself that it would be delightful to finally unwind. Free from the burdens of daily tasks, liberated from obligations, only tranquility remains. Yet, as the weeks unfolded, a sense of absence began to dawn on me. The hours dragged on, elongated by an endless cycle of anticipation. I observed it in other residents as well. Individuals who were once brimming with vitality now found themselves languidly seated, gazing into the void, biding their time as moments slipped away. Once, there was a man named George, aged 84, who had devoted his entire life to the craft of carpentry. Within the confines of his home, he tirelessly repaired items and crafted small projects in the sanctuary of his garage. Yet, in this place, there existed neither tools nor projects, leaving him devoid of anything to craft. I observed him as he gradually retracted his hands, once powerful and adept, now resting motionless in his lap. "I feel useless," he confided to me one day. In that moment, I understood his meaning with perfect clarity. When you find yourself devoid of something to nurture, something to strive for, the essence of life begins to fade away. As the mind decelerates, so too does the body yield to its rhythm. Before long, you begin to sense that you are merely another inhabitant in a realm where time flows, yet nothing truly transforms. As you contemplate the prospect of a nursing home, take a moment to reflect on what truly imbues your life with significance. For once you settle in, discovering purpose becomes more complex than merely occupying your hours. It revolves around the struggle to cling to the elements that ignite your spirit. Regret 4. As health deteriorates more swiftly than anticipated. Prior to my transition to a nursing home, I was thriving for my age. I may not have been racing in marathons, yet I was more than capable of looking after myself, take leisurely strolls, and prepare my own dishes. My small rituals propelled me forward. Grocery shopping, morning stretches, and even wandering through the house to maintain the strength in my legs. However, after I settled in, everything transformed. Initially, it appeared as though I was merely embracing a leisurely pace. Food was delivered to my doorstep, freeing me from the confines of the kitchen and the demands of cooking. Whenever I found myself in need, A simple push of a button would summon assistance to my side. Yet, I failed to see that with each act of neglect towards my own needs, I was slowly diminishing in strength. I ceased my movements, and before long a stiffness enveloped my legs. I found myself seated more often than before, and before long, the simple act of rising from a chair began to feel like an arduous task. The muscles I had devoted years to nurturing were vanishing more swiftly than I could have anticipated. It wasn't solely my experience. I witnessed it unfold for others as well. Individuals who once traversed the world on their own 2 feet found themselves unexpectedly dependent on wheelchairs. Individuals who had once navigated life with autonomy now found themselves requiring assistance with tasks that had previously posed no challenge. The greater the assistance we received, the more it appeared we required it. I recall my neighbor Alice. The friend was Iris Chabarazaratumkum, an 81-year-old woman who exuded vitality upon her arrival. She would stroll through the facility each day, firmly declaring that she wouldn't let a mere number dictate her pace. However, after a few months, I observed that she was not walking as frequently. She began with a walker and soon transitioned to a wheelchair. One day, she turned to me and said, "I don't know when it happened, but it feels as though I've aged a decade in just a few months." It truly felt that way. Ceasing to engage with your body leads to its gradual decline. In a nursing home, where every aspect is tailored for ease, one might overlook the fact that movement transcends mere convenience. It is fundamentally tied to the essence of survival. Had I been aware of the swift decline of my strength, I would have exerted greater effort to maintain my momentum, to remain engaged, to challenge myself, even in moments of reluctance. As you ponder the prospect of a nursing home, reflect on this. Will you retain the drive to maintain your physical strength when the environment is designed to render life so effortlessly simple? For when you take a moment to pause, rising again may prove more challenging than anticipated. If you're still engaged with this video and appreciating these insights, I invite you to comment with the number 4 below to signal your presence. If you haven't subscribed yet, I highly encourage you to do so and activate the notification bell to ensure you never miss a video. Your support empowers us to keep crafting meaningful content that informs and inspires you. Let us now proceed onward. I deeply regret the loss of privacy and dignity. One aspect I failed to fully contemplate prior to relocating to a nursing home was the extent of privacy I would forfeit. Within the confines of my abode, I possessed a sanctuary of my own. I could shut my bedroom door, embrace the stillness if I wished, and engage in activities dictated by my own desires. Yet within the confines of a nursing home, the notion of privacy often becomes a fleeting indulgence, one that is not easily preserved. Upon my arrival, an unsettling sensation enveloped me, as if unseen eyes were upon me. The staff moved in and out with a steady rhythm. Room checks were meticulously scheduled, and the shared spaces offered little solace from the ever-present company. Even the most basic tasks, such as getting dressed or using the bathroom, frequently necessitated the help of another. While I understand they were merely fulfilling their duties, it remains a challenge to embrace assistance for tasks I've managed on my own throughout my life. In my recollection, the initial week was marked by a profound struggle, grappling with the notion that I now needed to seek approval for actions I had previously undertaken without a second thought. Would you like to indulge in a refreshing shower? Patience may be required as you await assistance from someone who is currently occupied. Do you require a moment to visit the restroom? At times, the act of pressing the call button can lead to a wait that stretches longer than one might prefer. The options for meals were quite restricted. If the offerings of the day do not please your palate, then alas, you must accept your fate. Then came the matter of roommates. Not everyone is afforded the luxury of a private room, and the experience of sharing a space with an unchosen companion can often lead to frustration. Fortune smiled upon me with a kind roommate, yet whispers of misfortune echoed from others who were not as lucky. Some shared their living spaces with roommates who were boisterous, untidy, or even faced cognitive challenges that rendered sleep almost unattainable. Yet, despite all efforts to infuse your space with a sense of belonging, it remains an elusive sanctuary, never fully yours. The loss of dignity is a profound experience, one I did not fully grasp until I found myself in the depths of it. When individuals not yet seldom pause for a response before entering, when you are addressed as if you are merely a patient rather than a person, when your everyday rituals are governed by a timetable you did not design, it transforms you. You begin to sense a shift within, transforming from your unique self into merely another entry on a roster. As you contemplate the prospect of a nursing home, take a moment to reflect. Are you ready to relinquish the privacy and autonomy that have defined your existence thus far? For once it departs, reclaiming it becomes a formidable challenge. Regret 6. Coming to the understanding that departing is far more challenging than one might imagine. Upon my initial arrival at the nursing home, I reassured myself that this was merely a fleeting chapter. I decided to take a chance, to explore how it would unfold, and if it didn't suit me, I could simply walk away. Yet, I remained oblivious to the true difficulty of extricating myself once I had entered. Initially, it appeared straightforward. If it didn't suit my fancy, I'd simply return to the comforts of home. Yet, home had lost its familiar essence. The house stood silent and unoccupied, its upkeep from afar proving to be a challenging endeavor. My children had begun to implement changes, parting with items they believed I could do without, and even contemplating the idea of renting out the space. Upon mentioning the notion of returning, they paused with uncertainty. Do you truly believe you can handle this by yourself? Isn't it wiser to remain here? Our only desire is to see you thrive. Then came the matter of physical deterioration. After months of residing in a space where the burdens of cooking, cleaning, and even walking great distances were lifted from my shoulders, I found myself lacking the strength I once possessed. The autonomy I once cherished began to fade, rendering the prospect of returning home more challenging than I had ever envisioned. My lack of confidence in my ability to live independently held me captive in a state of fear. I encountered individuals who shared a similar journey. They decided to give the nursing home a chance, only to discover that departing was far more complicated than they had anticipated. As time stretches on, the challenge of acclimating to the world beyond intensifies. There are those who have completely lost the option altogether. Once their home had been sold, or their savings depleted by the expenses of care, there was no turning back. That's the aspect that often goes unspoken. Relocating may seem like a choice that can be undone, yet for the majority, it is anything but. The nursing home gradually envelops your existence, and before long, the vibrant life you once cherished begins to fade into the realm of distant recollections. As you contemplate the prospect of entering a nursing home, take a moment to reflect. Are you truly ready for the reality that departing may not be as straightforward as you envision? Once you find your footing, the obstacles to departure, be they financial, physical, or emotional, may prove more challenging to surmount than you anticipate. If you're still engaged with this video and appreciating these insights, I invite you to comment number 6 below to signal your presence. If you haven't subscribed yet, I highly encourage you to do so and activate the bell notification to ensure you never miss a video. Your support empowers us to persist in crafting meaningful content that informs and inspires you. Greetings to Mother. Concluding reflections. In reflection, I find no remorse in the passage of time, yet I do harbor regret for once thinking that a nursing home was my sole path forward. I entered with the anticipation of finding solace, security, and an enhanced existence. What I discovered instead was a realm that gradually stripped me of my autonomy, my solitude, my direction, and ultimately my very identity. Does that imply that all nursing homes are inherently negative? Not exactly. There are individuals who truly require the depth of care that is offered. However, prior to reaching that conclusion, take a moment to ponder what you might be relinquishing. For once you take that step, everything will change forever. If given the chance to rewrite my past, I would have battled more fiercely to remain in my own sanctuary, sought out additional avenues for assistance without relinquishing my autonomy, and ensured that my need for such a significant change was genuine before committing to that irreversible decision. As you stand at this crossroads, I encourage you to pause and reflect. Is this genuinely the path that serves my best interests? Or is it merely what appears to be the simplest choice at this moment? The life you possess today, your routines, your independence, your choices, is a treasure to be cherished for as long as possible. We appreciate your presence with us today. Your thoughts are important to us, and we eagerly await your response. We invite you to share your thoughts in the comments below. What is one insight you gained today, and how do you envision incorporating it into your life moving forward? Your insights hold great value, so please feel free to express them. Your comments inspire us and fill us with motivation and encouragement. If this video resonated with you and proved useful, consider liking, subscribing, and sharing it with others. Your support empowers us to keep crafting meaningful content that informs and inspires you. We appreciate your viewership and eagerly anticipate your presence in our next video.